And even if you watch it on very sporadically, very sparingly, here and there, or just watch clips here and there, you kind of get an understanding as to why this Brony community is the way it is, why this Brony phenomenon has become what it is. I mean, you could, for me, all I have to do is watch the show a couple of times. A couple of times I watch clips here and there, and one character that I've become a fan of just because of, because she's basically the eye candy. I've mentioned that in a video of the show, but just because of who she is and basically the uniqueness that the unique situation they've put her in with a character like Spike, who's supposed to be a young dragon, but maybe if you kind of look at it from a dog year perspective, might be a year, but then again might be just because in that 1 year he might have become a teenager in dragon years, who knows. It's her, is that unique relationship she has with the character of Spike, and you always kind of want to see those two officially get together, and there's always hints and all that, and people have talked about it, they want to see it happen. Some have said, yeah, it'd be nice, but they don't think it is. It's one of those unique perspectives to where you want to cheer for a character like Rarity to, end up with someone like Spike, because you pretty much feel, that's, that's the genuine way to go. That's what fans want to see. That's the genuine way to go. Fans want to see that, even if they don't watch the show as much as the Bronies do or the regular MLP fans do. Even if they don't watch it religiously or daily or whatever, there's still that uniqueness to it, to where if they do watch clips here and there, or they hear maybe, oh, this might happen, they might, in the next episode, they might take a look at it. To me, that's what you have with a character like Rarity in the show. Is you want to see her go with Spike, and vice versa. You want to see it happen. You want to see it happen in the show. You really do. And I don't think it's just the show either that's helped make this a phenomenon. I mean, yeah, again, the show's got great writing, great characters that have been written terrifically, great storytelling, throwbacks, if you will, to the adventurous side. I mean, they brought back a villain from the very first MLP animated episode ever in the finale of season 4. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? They brought him back. They brought that guy back to battle Twilight. What does that tell you? And to me, it's just to me, it's like I mentioned, it's stuff like that, along with the great storytelling, along with the writing of the characters and the stories, that I believe have made this the phenomenon what it is. And again, I don't think it's just the show. You have IDW doing its part with the comic book. And the comic book itself sometimes goes a little darker than the show ever would, because of course you got more freedom in a comic book. You could do more with a comic book. Excuse me. For example, one of the very first major arcs they did, even if it was for a few issues, one of the first major arcs that they did was they took Rarity and turned her into the new Nightmare Moon, or Nightmare Rarity. That's what they did. They basically had this nightmare force, whatever it was, that had taken over Luna, made her into Nightmare Moon, and said, you know what, let's get somebody else to take her place. And then they got Rarity. And they kind of explained how Luna went from being a small pony to being what she was. And they kind of showed that when a character gets absorbed or possessed or whatever by this nightmare power, that they grow in length. They become a tall, full-grown horse or pony, whatever. Their appearances change a little bit, still the same, but change. So they did, I don't know how, I think it was like for 4 issues or something, 3 issues that they did this arc. And this was basically, to me, served like a sequel to the pilot episode, or to the 2-part pilot. That's what it served as. And to me, it was a little darker than I think what you've seen in the show so far. Not saying the show cannot get dark or emotional. It can get that way. It will get that way. There's no doubt about it. But still, it's not just the show that's caused this phenomenon to be what it is. Because of its great writing for the characters and the great storytelling in the eyes of many people, even those like myself that don't watch it religiously or daily or whatever, but just watch it sporadically, maybe watch clips here and there. But, just to see this, just to see that the comic itself is helping this phenomenon is huge. It's really huge. And like I say, the comic does obviously stories that normally you wouldn't really, because it has more freedom, that you probably wouldn't really see that much in the show. Now, I'm not saying the show down the line won't maybe adapt the whole Nightmare Rarity storyline for a future episode or season. They probably will. But then again, we don't really know. But like I said, it's thanks to the comic as well as the show that because obviously of the overall presentation of both, that this phenomenon has taken off. Another reason, according to some people, that perhaps the Brony community is the way it is because it's a bit of a rebelliousness. A bit of a rebelliousness. And what I mean is a bit of rebelliousness is the fact that this is a show originally targeted for young girls. And because it's, the way it is, because of its overall presentation, that even though it's a show originally targeted for young girls, you have men my age, younger, whatever, get into it because maybe we want to rebel against it. Maybe they want to rebel and say, "Hey, we know we're not supposed to like it, but hey, we're going to like it anyway, just to show how maybe crazy this whole situation is, with always having to bring back the same kind of concept over and over and over again." Again, I can't really say if that's true or not, but from what I've read in the article, from what I've watched on the Good Mythical Morning, and through this Brony Chronicles, that it's got to be a bit of a rebellious side. It's like they're watching it just to rebel against it. Say, yeah, it's so bad it's good. Yeah, we're not supposed to watch it. We know the original intended audience is young girls and all that. But geez, take a look at what these young girls are getting all over the place. They're getting Barbies, they're getting this, they're getting that. And now you're feeding them this. You know what? We'll watch it. We'll get behind it just to show you that this kind of thing is ridiculous. That, you got to stop shoving these kind of things down our throats. But in a sense, even if that's the case, even if it's sort of a rebelliousness to say, yeah, we're not supposed to watch it, but we'll watch it anyway because, that's what we want to do, and maybe we want to show that, something like this sooner or later will get so tiring and boresome and all that, that you're not going to want to watch it anymore, and that phenomenon's going to die out, and hey, our mission's complete. You know, I don't know if that's the case, or maybe they just want to watch it because, you know, it's good. You know, one of the things I read in the article is a guy who's married, his wife's more into Harry Potter and stuff like that, and she's basically very tolerable, supportive, but tolerable of his MLP fascination. So, you know, and I think when I read something like that, I kind of see where the whole rebelliousness comes in. Like, yeah, I know. Like, this guy's basically to his wife. Like basically, this guy's saying, yeah, my wife knows I'm not supposed to watch it, and I know my wife knows I'm not supposed to watch it. But guess what? I'm gonna watch it anyway, in spite of her, just to show her, hey, it might be a girl show, but you know, it might still be entertaining, might be still good. You know, things like that. But, you know, just because it's good, you know, doesn't mean you have to be, in my opinion, just because it's good, doesn't mean you have to be rebellious to watch it. You know, I think just watch it because you want to watch it. That's it. It's kind of like, you know, like, you know, like with me. When I used to watch MLP Tales on Disney Channel, did I watch it because I wanted to be rebellious? No, I just watched it because I liked it. That's it. Do I read the Berenstain Bear books? And I have a lot of them. From the first time books, the Living Lights, the big chapters, etc. Do I read them because I want to be rebellious? No, I read them because I like them. And I grew up on them. You know, that's the whole point. Did I watch the PBS version of the Berenstain Bears because I was rebellious? No, I watched it because I liked the Berenstain Bears and I grew up on them. You know, do I collect these because I want to be rebellious? No. I collect them for nostalgic reasons and the fact that, yes, I did grow up on MLP basically back when it started in the 1980s. So even if it's a newer version of MLP with newer reincarnated versions of characters that we've seen before, then yeah, I'm going to probably collect it in some sense. You know, in some sense. I mean, even when I worked at the Walmart in Lawrence, Kansas, I collected some of the MLP figures. And this was like and this was like, what was it, 4 or 5 years, well, mainly 4 years before this season came out, or before this version came out in 2010. And, you know, I collected some of them because of the G3. Just wanted to see why they were being brought back. Now, did that mean that I became obsessed? No. I only collected a few figures here and there. Just like I'm doing now. Figure-wise, you know, yeah, I've got a Twilight, I've got a Candace. You know, the Princess Twilight, the Princess Candace. Like I say, I have a tiny rarity, a tiny 8-inch rarity. I have this, you know, I have a plush rarity. I have this big rarity, and I have what you saw, Princess Celestia. I have those. But do those outnumber what I have turtle-wise? No. Do those outnumber what I have transformer-wise? No. You know, you know, does this outnumber what I have comic book-wise when it comes to Sonic? Card-wise when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh? No, they don't outnumber any of those. They don't outnumber any of those, and there's a reason. And that reason is because I'm more of a fan of those, and I'm willing to watch and read those more than I am MLP. But does it mean I have to hate MLP? No. Does it mean I can collect it just for nostalgic reasons? Yes. But does that make me a brony? No. No, it doesn't. It just makes me, you know, a nostalgic supporter, not a brony. I'm not someone that dresses up, you know, as any of the characters. I'm not somebody that religiously watches the show. I'm not someone that dedicates all the time and money to go to a convention in Baltimore or San Francisco or wherever. I'm someone that just is a nostalgic supporter. Okay? That's all I am. And you know, that's how I look at the series from a nostalgic point of view. And in a sense, I would kind of guess that's how the Brony community is, but especially those that are around my age. They look at it from a nostalgic point of view, like I mentioned earlier, that it's probably because it's a bit of a nod to the more adventurous side. But I think it's like I've said before, and I know I'm sounding like I'm repeating myself, it's the overall presentation. It's the overall presentation, and it's something that, even though maybe you're someone my age and you know you're not supposed to watch it, you watch it because maybe it's so good, maybe it's so bad it's good, or maybe just by watching a few episodes, maybe because you have a kid that might like it, that you find yourself liking it because the writing's is smart. It's smart writing. It's good. You know, like I said, it's got references in there that younger kids wouldn't catch, but adults would. It's got, writing to where if a character says something or acknowledges something, maybe the young kid won't catch it, but the adult would. And the uniqueness. Each character has their own personality, has their own uniqueness to it. And it's got that bit of a cartoony, very toony-like, almost Looney Tune-like feel to it at times. Very Looney Tune feel of it at times. So it's really unique in some ways in that perspective. And that's why I think this Brony phenomenon is the way it is. That's why I think when you go, when you see these Bronies or you talk to them and you see the collections, you see them coming on YouTube and showing you a room tour and a whole room that they've made dedicated to MLP and all that, it's because of these people that the show is the success that it is. Now, is it also due to now is it also due to now is it also due to its original target audience? Yeah. To its original target gender? Yes, it's a success because of that too. Probably more so with that than the Bronies, but then again it could be equal. Who knows? But like I was saying earlier, I collected the MLP figures back in 2006, which I say it was like 4 years before the show came out, 4 or 5 years before the show came out. But like I said, none of that never numbered what I had. And it never will. It's just for nostalgic reasons due to the fact that I grew up on the show back in the 80s. Heck, I have the original first season when it was... I bought the original release of the complete first season of MLP G1 when Rhino had the license. I did. I even recorded, when I didn't know about DVD Fab, I recorded through my ILO recorder off one DVD to another, MLP the movie. I did that. And then I DVD Fabbed it. And then recently I bought the 30th anniversary edition. And then I bought the complete series through Amazon. And then recently at my job I got the G2 series, which is MLP Tales. Now, did I do that because I'm a Brony? No. I did that for nostalgic support. I'm a nostalgic supporter of the series. And in a sense, I think that's what the Bronies are themselves. They're nostalgic supporters because it's at times reminiscing of the original series. I think when they look at FIM, they look at a mixture of all the incarnations that came before, all put together, all mixed together into this perfect melting pot